Hello everyone, it gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you here today. I'm Beatrice from Smithers Asia. I'm going to be one of the hosts of this innovative event. And now we are pleased to welcome our next speaker, Gilad, CEO at Navico Global, to give us his views on considerations in sustainable packaging design. Hi Gilad, the session is yours now.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll just share my screen. Oh, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to come to you live from Melbourne and to discuss the topic of packaging as a marketing tool or consumer demand for sustainable packaging. We've noticed in recent times, and especially in the lead up to 2020, that sustainability has been the most important spoken about topic on everyone's lips, especially now in our industry and in the packaging industry and food industry. And we've seen it through celebrities and well-known people like David Attenborough in his documentary. We've seen it with Greta going on the UN stage. We've seen it in publications, and very much the emphasis for 2020 was to have a sustainable vision. And this is what's brought it to the forefront. And we've seen that sustainable packaging is a hot topic on everyone's lips at the moment, and the need to justify the packaging is greater than ever before for your organization, for your customers and consumers, and ultimately to the people that are doing the shopping and putting the product into the shopping trolley. So the question is how to market sustainable packaging design. What we need to remember is we are brand storytellers, and the packaging is the greatest vessel, the greatest tool that we have in order to tell our story. And considering the importance of sustainable design these days, I want to highlight how, and through good case studies of how you use packaging to really tell your brand story well. It seems to be, especially before Corona started, that brown was the new green, that everything that had a bit of a brown texture to it or a brown color to it is automatically associated with being better for the environment, and consumers tend to gravitate towards it. There was a sentiment that cardboard is good, plastic is bad, and therefore most companies, especially in the produce sector, were leaning more towards cardboard as opposed to plastic. Some of it has recently changed through what has happened with Corona, and it seems to be that the sentiment towards plastic has reversed somewhat, and people feel that their protection and food safety related issues are more important than sustainability at the moment. But I think these things are very much of the moment, and they will change and they will morph and they will go back to a much greater sustainable bandwidth in the very near future. One of the things that I put out to the industry is very much taking a 3R approach to packaging. And this is used to market your product, but this is used as a way of a mindset towards packaging. So we've got remove, reduce, and replace. To give you an example, when the packaging simply doesn't add any value to your product, you need to remove it, you need to delete it. And some of the examples that I've showed you here is clear that the use of packaging there was incorrect and has created a huge consumer backlash for these particular retailers. One, when they've halved an avocado, vacuum sealed it and put it in a cardboard sleeve. The example on the left is for pre-peeled oranges in a plastic clamshell sold in Whole Foods in the States. And there was a huge consumer backlash towards it, into why they're using it, into overuse of packaging. And very quickly they have deleted those lines as there was simply no justification for it. So the first R, remove. If we don't need it, we don't use it, simply get rid of it. The second R is the reduce R, use less of it. It's better for the environment, and it's also better for the bottom line. And you're seeing a wonderful example of a clamshell container, plastic clamshell, that has then been turned into a top seal. So clearly you're using less packaging, you're using less plastic, about 30-something% less, and therefore it's better for your pocket, but it's also better for the environment. And you market it accordingly, that you have gone through an exercise of reducing the amount of plastic that you're using and making that story known to the consumer. The third R is very much the replace are. And that's from an environmental, sustainable standpoint, and also from a marketing standpoint, that it's a very clear difference between the one on the left, for example, that is clear plastic punnet, and the one on the right that is a cardboard craft punnet, that vessel, that medium is used to tell a much greater story and really make the product stand out with a very clear, visible, marketable message on the packaging that encourages consumers to grab that versus the plastic packaging that they've seen so far. One of the main messages in marketing sustainable design is whether you're really getting your message across. Because if you're not getting your message across and you're not getting the mileage out of it, then really it's just going to increase your packaging costs and not get you any additional returns, such as increase in sales and so on. Some of the examples that you see here, the one on the left is from New Zealand as an example, that they're clearly highlighting that product is using New Zealand recycled plastic. So within the stream and keeping it local in New Zealand. So this is for the New Zealand consumers. The example in the middle is an example from the States where they've taken a logo and embossed it on the actual packaging. So when you look at it, you can actually tell how many pieces of plastic bottles were used in order to be put back into that particular container. And then the example on the right is very much using the cardboard vessel and using that as an advertising real estate and encouraging people to come and join a particular environmental sustainable revolution. But they are making a clear point of putting those messages on pack for consumers to see very, very clearly. Although there's been a huge backlash over the last couple of years relating to packaging and people are looking to reduce the amount of packaging, I firmly believe that we are very much in the packaging golden era. And the amount of packaging available and the amount of different formats available, especially for the produce industry, which is a big part of my business, there hasn't been that many packaging to use to date. And you're seeing some wonderful examples of how sustainable packaging and a particular look is used to promote the sustainable packaging agenda, but also promote the sustainability of a business and framing them as being a sustainable brand. So it's not just the sustainable packaging that is the exercise, it's the brand itself that's taking part in a sustainable packaging exercise, is branding itself as caring more for the environment and for the earth, etc. So it's a bit of a two-pronged approach to marketing and marketing a sustainable product. One of the things that we've seen in recent times is that there was a big swing towards cardboard through Corona and through food safety related issues where people are concerned about their health from a viral standpoint. There's been a swing back and the sentiment has been reversed towards plastic being bad for the environment, plastic killing dolphins and choking turtles and so on. So it swung in the opposite direction. And I think that eventually within the next 12 to 24 months, the pendulum would really meet somewhere in the middle where we're able to get the benefits of food safety that plastic gives us, together with the product visibility, together with the sustainability or the perceived sustainability with cardboard, etc. So there's been a big swing to the right to cardboard, a big swing to the left towards plastic through recent events, and now landing somewhere nice in the middle. The design process and what makes a sustainable design. This to me is one of the better examples out there in our industry to highlight how all the pieces in the puzzle get connected to really promote not only a sustainable looking packaging, but a whole wholesome start to finish project. This particular example is wonderful because these growers have noticed that the smaller type of avocados that they grow are not getting the appropriate returns or money back to the growers because they're small, eating avocado and no one really wants to buy it. So to a great extent, those particular avocados would have been left on the tree, would have been just left there to drop and to rot, and no one was really picking it because there wasn't enough money to justify that exercise. On top of that, they've realized through some consumer studies and understanding how people consume avocados that most people grab a larger size avocado, wait for it to be ripe, then cut half of it, put it into their salads and into their sandwiches, and really watch the other half go brown in the fridge. What they've realized that there's an opportunity here is to market a product that is a smaller size avocado and a single serve avocado. So you will eat the entire avocado in one sitting. Put on top of that the brand name that they've added to it, and put on top of that the packaging that is more environmentally friendly, that is brown, that looks the part, that really sends out a message of a sustainable pack. And you've got a very, very successful project from the grower level to the consumer level, and all the pieces meeting in the middle. How can packaging help reduce food waste? They can certainly increase consumption, like the example that we just gave. You're able to use crop that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to use. If you're able to package it appropriately, you're able to extend the shelf life of the product. You're able to do smaller pack sizes that you can potentially snap off and just consume that while the other is still kept in the fridge. But to me, the food waste part of it, with the different supply chain partners, is how we can really reduce the food waste through the grower, through the retailer, and ultimately through the consumer, where the product lasts longer in the fridge. I think recent times through Corona has really demonstrated to us that the notion of food safety is of much greater importance than everyone has really realized, where you're sitting at home for a longer period of time through lockdown in various parts of the world. You're buying greater shopping carts, greater in value, and you would like to get your money's worth and make sure that that product lasts in your fridge as much as possible. Food waste, these are figures that are a few years old, is becoming a greater issue than packaging waste itself. So product that doesn't get picked, product that gets thrown in the supply chain, and product that doesn't get consumed within the household. We're seeing various technologies, and I've just nominated a few here, that our main focus is to reduce the food waste, whether it's ethylene absorbers, whether it's microperforation on the film to control the respiration rate of the product, or whether it's resealable products that you're able to open and close them and still maintain that atmosphere of the environment within the pack, and therefore extend the shelf life of the product. These types of technologies have always been the ones that are in the back office when no one really talks about, where I believe that they're making a strong appearance as far as consumers are concerned, and they're more consumer-facing techs than they've ever been before. Another wonderful example to promote sustainable design is to really push the notion of repurposing the packaging, which is giving the packaging an additional lease on life, and therefore further justifying the existence of the packaging in the first place. Furthermore, from a packaging marketing standpoint, repurposing the pack enables you as the marketer to have your brand exposed to your consumer for a greater period of time. We're seeing wonderful examples there of capsicums or peppers sold in Europe that have a small container with a bit of soil there. So you take the seeds from the capsicums, you plant them, and you see the product grow. A Valentine's Day promotion that turns into a sleeve that is a card, a well-wishing card for Valentine's Day, or a box of 2 kilo apples that then gets repurposed into a doll's house or a fire engine house. But you're able to get the consumer's attention that way, but you're also able to expose your brand to them for a greater deal of time. Another wonderful example coming out of Europe with an amazing technology and amazing innovation is maybe not use packaging at all. They're able to, via laser, to brand certain products, the ones that have the hard skin on them, to not need any other packaging to create that point of difference, specifically within the organics. It doesn't harm the product, it doesn't compromise its eating qualities, but you're able to clearly differentiate between an organic SKU to a traditional commodity SKU without adding additional unnecessary packaging. And that's it. One of the main comments that I make is when you're looking for your packaging format and your produce, you have to make sure that there's a great match there. Thank you.
Hi, Gilad. Thank you so much for your great presentation. And we've got some questions from our audience, and I will leave them to you to answer. I pasted the questions in our Zoom chat. Zoom chat. Can you see it now?
Will there be examples to explain the sustainability? Reduction in consumer, I'm terribly sorry, but consumer electronics is not my area of expertise, so it's hard for me to answer that question. I specialize in fresh produce, and I've got wonderful examples for that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And I hope that you can join in our RISE event, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.